There's a 100% chance that this housing market is about to crash. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very, very tricky times. All right, folks, welcome to the channel. It's always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up, strap in. We have another hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows and sunshine. We're just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. And folks, this one's got away from us. This housing bubble has got away from us. This is insanity, folks. We are now, well, we've always been. This one is at, in my opinion, 100% crash risk. And we're going to talk today. It's really quite simple, actually, even though we like to make things so complex and overthink so much today in today's world. But the realities are is this one's pretty simple for me. And we're going to talk about today why I believe, trying to take a level-headed realist look at this one, of why, in fact, we are at 100% crash risk. And for me, personally, it really becomes now more of a question of when, not if, but in fact when. This is insane. Can you believe the stuff that we're living in right now, folks? Insanity. So listen, folks, again, what you have to understand is throughout history, every time a housing bubble has been produced, every single time, they have crashed. So for me, it doesn't, like I said, anybody that thinks that the markets can continue forever, especially when they've been placed in a bubble, is out of touch with reality. But I understand, because in the last housing bubble, I got caught up in the FOMO. I drank the Kool-Aid and I bought in the height of a real estate bubble. I work in real estate. I own real estate. So I understand how people are thinking in this one. But the realities are, folks, this was purely pandemic driven. If it's not for the pandemic, we aren't even talking today. So as a result of, we'll talk a little bit of what happened in, where we're at now and what's coming. But the reality is we overstimulated an economy. And now we're suffering the blowback in terms of runaway inflation and rising interest rates, coming. And it's this delicate dance to try not to spook the financial markets, because the rich have to stay rich, and the average person is going to pay for that. It's just always the way it's happened. It's all politics. It's all politically driven. So realities are, folks, that's how we got here. We overstimulated the economy. We poured too much stimulus in for, eviction bans, foreclosure bans, mortgage forbearance, unemployment benefits, pay people to stay at home, send checks everywhere, double the amount of money in circulation, get our debt sheet so big that we'll never have a chance to pay it off. It's humanly impossible. We've overstimulated the economy. And it was not smart, in my opinion. This one should have never, ever happened. In my opinion, they should have stopped this initially, just let the crash happen, and we could have already been in a rebuild effort right now and probably back to a very healthy economy. But now we are very bubbly, and bubbles historically pop. And so when you produce the biggest bubble ever produced in world history, which is what you're living in, the quickest appreciation rates ever seen in history to all-time highs ever seen in history. That is the biggest bubble ever recorded in world history. And so historically, if we've had booms and busts in the markets, in the real estate market, we've always had booms and busts. So our job is to hopefully buy, everybody wants to buy the dip. And so you're never going to time the bottom of the real estate market. But one thing you can do is time the top. And this, in fact, is the top. Why, you ask? I'll tell you. Because anytime you get at an all-time high in a short period of time, and then it starts to level off in comparison to those huge run-ups, that is the top. That is the top. And so we're going to see a softening as interest rates spike, summer months coming, inventory coming, foreclosures coming, new construction coming. We're about to saturate this market. So the when does the potential crash happen becomes the next question. And it's going to be sooner than later. And it also becomes a question of how deep does this one go? Is it a correction? Just maybe a 10% reduction in property values nationwide? Is it a recession where you can get into maybe 30% reductions nationwide? Is it a full-blown depression where it could get to 50, 60, 70% price reductions nationwide. And I believe that we're going to see that depressionary level of a recession produced. It might not be in every city in America, but I believe it'll be in multiple cities in America. And the challenge with that one is going to be, if we get into a deep cycle recession, a depression, the spillover, the contagion, the herd mentality will reach into other markets, even if they're fundamentally sound, because the way we think today, our digital diet, we're all on screens, it's going to cause some panic. And this is very much psychological warfare. Now, like I said, as a trained longtime salesman, I know it comes down to the psychology of people, the psychology of sales. And people do not like to spend when there's uncertainty with the markets, with the economy, with any of that. And folks, just like we've said before, every single time a real estate bubble has been produced, they have always crashed throughout history. So this one has to crash. If it doesn't, it would be the first time in history it didn't. And that's a scary thought for me, because you can't, you do have to, anything is possible. But if that was to transpire, the world that we would live in would be very much different. Every single thing will change for Americans in this world. Everything. You will own nothing and maybe be happy. Like, I don't even know. But I know that's a narrative that's out there. So the reality is, folks, that's exactly what's going on. In final thoughts today, folks, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator. Somebody wants to see you win. Somebody wants to be here for you if and when you're ready to buy real estate. I myself am on the sidelines. I've insulated myself. I'm not going to buy in the height of a real estate bubble. I did that in the last one. I'm not going to do the same thing over and over expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. I see a lot of people out there that have lived through the last bubble, even suffered the effects of it, back buying in another real estate bubble. That is insane, my friends. I'm sorry. So the realities are, I really want you to insulate yourself the best you know how. Save your money for a rainy day. Save it for whatever you want to save it for. But right now, the level-headed realist playing it safe, jumping on the sidelines, might be the winner in this one. We've seen many heavy hitters doing exactly what I'm talking about today. My goal is just to keep you in touch with some of the basic fundamentals of the market, and basic fundamentals have left this market a long time ago, and we are now in the biggest real estate bubble ever recorded in world history. And every single time that has happened, they have in fact crashed. So the historical data just tells us that. I know a lot of people want to pin this on supply and demand, and that is the only thing you can pin this on. Absolutely, as long as the supply isn't there, the demand will be high. But you got to understand, this was purely a blip in the radar, artificially produced due to government stimulus spending, and stimulus programs. There was nothing organic about it. So this one is at the biggest crash risk of any bubble that we've ever seen. I hope you all understand that. Very, very important work we're doing here, friends. Our rewards in life will be in direct proportion to our contribution. You can contribute simply by giving the video a like and supporting me in what I believe is this very, very, very important work. I appreciate your time as always. Please go make it count today. We'll see you on the next video.